Hey there, folks. I'm Matt Hansen.
And I'm John Johnson.
And you're listening to
Planes, Trains, and Comic
Books, the podcast where we discuss favorites we've reread, comics we want to read, and everything in between.
And here's the comic we picked this week.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Planes, Trains, and Comic Books. So this one's going to be a little bit different. We're doing like a multi-part series on all of the Frank Miller Dark Knight books. So that's Dark Knight Returns, which we're doing today.
Yeah.
We got Dark Knight Strikes Again, which next time we'll do that. There's a middle one. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like a single issue from 2016 called Dark Knight something. I don't know. And then then there's Dark Knight Master Race. And then there's Dark Knight Golden Child, which is another single issue that was in between. So possibly 5 episodes, maybe less. We're trying to figure out.
Yeah, we're still kind of working it out.
How it's going to work. But we figured this would be fun to go through all of them at once. John has only read one of them, which was this one, Dark Knight Returns, right?
Yeah, but it was great to come back to it because I actually read this one a couple years ago, so it was cool to.
Yeah, well, this one, I mean, as I found, apparently it's like I forget everything in it, and it's just like reading it brand new again.
It was, because we were talking about it. I was like, oh, yeah, Batman fights Superman. That's the one, right? Yeah, well, there's way more than that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it doesn't make any sense how I can forget so many important plot points and everything.
Yeah, because this is fantastic.
And then the second I start reading, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened in this. I totally forgot about that. And yeah, I don't know why I'm so bad at that, but I am. So with that said, you got anything you want to start with?
I just wanted to say we've been on a Batman kick here recently. We've done a couple extra Batman ones. Batman has some freaking good comics, and we're just delving into them. But we definitely have some more true crime coming, and we have some other fun obscurities coming up. But we're excited to do this Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, we just figured this would be a fun
Dark Knight series.
Yeah, like a fun, I don't know, deep dive. It's the first like multi-part series we've done. So yeah. So this one, I gotta say, it like from the first page, just masterfully written
from
like,
the first cover.
Well, the cover, you're like, okay, art. And that's what everybody thinks with Frank Miller. Like, you're like, his art's good. And if you've read his other stuff, you're like, yeah, his writing's fine. Like, if you read some of his Dark Horse stuff, like Sin City and whatnot, you're like, yeah, it's fine writing. It's readable, and it's not, like, groundbreaking. This is fucking groundbreaking.
It is.
This is, like, really, really intricate storytelling. Lots of moving pieces, going on in the background, and it's like masterfully done. I don't know how long it took him to script this and everything and put all the pieces together, but he did a really good job with this one. And for those of you who don't know, The Dark Knight Returns came out in the 80s, like mid 80s. I want to say 86, but around there. And it was kind of like the first graphic novel ever. So before this book, and probably Watchmen too. I think those came out concurrently. But before those two books, it was like you get the single issues, and unless there's a very, very special reason for it, where they'd reprint it in some like fat copy of it, you never really got collected issues of anything. So you could never buy trade paperbacks of your favorite run. You'd have to go find those issues.
Wow.
Yeah. So then this stuff came out. And they're like, we're going to collect it in a trade paperback. And then they saw how popular that was. And they're like, we should do that for everything. So then, yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that. That basically, this time period started that.
It basically started the whole trade paperback market. Like I said, that's why issues were so. I mean, can you imagine going to a comic store and being like, oh, they don't have I want to read. Someone told me one time about this, Batman story. And now I got to figure out, which run of it was where.
Oh my gosh.
I can't imagine looking for. It's hard enough with trade paperbacks, but at least it's like, here's everyone collected. Or if there's multiple titles, like if it's a crossover, how the fuck do you find all of those issues? Anyway, it would have been a big, big problem, I think, for most people. Most comic fans. And I guess it made it more like you're a real geek if you have every issue of something or whatever. Or if you have
issues.
the entire story, the story run of something. But so this is like kind of groundbreaking just for that. Just that it was so big and so good that everybody now has trade paperbacks because it was so good that they're like, we gotta keep this in print. And the same with Watchmen, and that's why like Alan Moore gets fucked over from Watchmen, because the deal he made with DC was, I get the rights back to these characters and this story and everything once it's out of print. And it's never gone out of print since then because the trade is so popular.
Oh my gosh!
So that's why he hates DC Comics. So yeah, and they do that on purpose, I'm sure, because they could make it go out of print if they wanted. They just stop printing it, but they like money. So yeah. But anyway, back to Dark Knight Returns. So this book is set in a dystopian DC future. So it's like Gotham. It's 10 years after Batman's retired. And it says he's 55. So Batman retires at 45, apparently.
I guess.
I mean,
but that's a lot of stuff on the body.
He's got a lot of miles.
Broke his back. He's
I don't know. Jackie Chan's still acting.
Batman's doing this all every night.
Okay, whatever.
Jackie Chan's nothing against Jackie Chan, but
you better watch your mouth. This is Jackie Chan house. Anyway, so yeah, like Batman's retired. I was gonna say Jackie's retired. Batman's retired, and he's going around now. He's kind of like a thrill seeker. He's like driving cars, race cars and stuff.
Got to get that thrill of
the adrenaline,
the chase, or the.
You got to ride that dragon or chase the dragon. But yeah, like he's just so he's seeing Gotham like go down. There's crime all over the place and everything. There's a new gang called the Mutants that are rising up. They're a bunch of most of them are kids. Most of them are like in high school or younger. And I guess they like mutilate themselves to look a certain way. Like they'll shave their head and then put spikes in where their hair was, and then like they'll file their teeth to be sharp
and
pointy. Yeah, and then they wear these like weird visors, and they talk all weird. How do they say stuff, John?
Yeah, they talk. Spud.
Hey Spud, what you doing? Slicing dice.
Yeah, they. It's almost like a cross of like. I don't know, like
50s gang talk.
Yeah,
and then.
Like old style, but then with like some interesting words to it. But yeah, he's like Spud no dummy. Like I can hang.
Yeah,
slice and dice.
Yeah, it's a weird mix, but it works because it just puts you in this weird dystopian world where everybody's talking weird and shit. And so like, and then you see like there's like these doctors that are like trying to rehabilitate all the Arkham villains and stuff. So you see like Joker's in Arkham, and he's like, actually, I don't even know if it's Arkham, but it's some kind of facility. They don't say Arkham, but and he's just kind of like zonked out, like he must be on pills or whatnot. But it seems like he's just been quiet for 10 years since Batman's been gone. And yeah, he's just sitting there like, he's moving, his eyes can move and stuff, but he's not like talking or being jokery. He's not like going crazy or anything. And then we see that Two-Face, or Harvey Dent, they've done reconstructive surgery on his face, and they show him his face, and it seems like he's happy with it. And then because of that, and because of the work that I guess the doctors were doing with him mentally, he is rehabilitated. So they're going to release him, and he does a whole press conference, and he's like,
I hope Gotham can forgive me.
That's kind of like what starts Batman coming back.
Yeah. Oh, and Jim Gordon is going to retire. He's retiring in like 4 weeks. He's like, I'm almost done with this.
I got to clean up this city in 4 weeks.
Yeah. And he's like 70. He's going to retire on his 70th birthday, right?
Yeah.
Man. Bunch of old fogies ready to be done with this town.
Oh yeah. So and we also see like there's one shot where like Bruce Wayne is it's after his little so he's driving his race car, he gets in an accident, but he lives. You can just see he's like an adrenaline junkie, and And then after that, he was like walking down through, I don't know if it was Crime Alley or around there.
Somewhere, yeah.
But he's walking and it was nighttime and some mutants come up to him and they're like, slice and dice, old man, or whatever, And they were going to kill him, but then he was just like, whatever.
No. Well, he was like, it looked like he was more.
No, it looked like he was going to.
He was going to be like,
but then like, he was, it didn't show his face. Like, they said, like, we don't want to do it because he's not scared.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it was. Like, they need to see him be scared. And then he like almost has a heart attack.
Yeah.
That's when we find out like, oh, his heart's given out, and I guess that's maybe why he had to stop being Batman.
I like his mustache.
Yes, he's got like a fine mustache.
Fine, big, gray, bushy mustache.
Yeah. So, you got the Tom Selleck over there. We could have Tom Selleck play.
Tom Selleck, old man.
Yeah, old man Bruce Wayne. But yeah, so then because of Harvey Dent and because of the crime, Batman's like, with the mutants and everything, Batman's like, okay, I gotta come back. Like, this city's not okay now. And crime has risen. Crime has been happening besides just the mutants, because the mutants are attacking people randomly and they'll kill whoever and they'll do messed up stuff. But then there's other crimes going on that seem to be orchestrated by someone who's actually like knows what they're doing. And Batman is like, it's got to be Two-Face. I hope it's not, but it's got to be Two-Face. And he finds like coins and stuff at the crime scenes and whatnot. So we also get introduced to this girl who's, I guess, what's she, like 14?
Yeah, she seemed like she's 14, 15.
Yeah, she's pretty young. But she's like walking with her friend. Her name's Carrie, and they're walking through like an arcade, and I guess this arcade is where like the new mutants are like, or the new mutants, different title. But where the mutants are, I guess, are known to hang out, and they almost get murdered by them, but Batman comes back and saves her.
Saves them, yeah. And she's like, oh,
yeah.
Whoa.
And she's like, holy crap, he's back or whatever. And she's all inspired by that. So she actually starts like looking to dress up like Robin, and she wants to fight crime and whatnot because she's impressionable. Like, it basically, she sets up being the new Robin, which is cool because apparently we see that there hasn't been a new Robin since Jason Todd. And that's kind of maybe what also broke Bruce, because this is as far as like the timeline in our world, Jason Todd, who was the second Robin, he was beat to death by the Joker with a crowbar.
Yeah, and that seems to be almost like that's true in this story too.
No, it is, because he says Jason.
Yeah, that's what I said, but they don't outright like.
Yeah, they don't reference.
But they're like, what the Joker did to him. But like, and I assume that's what it is. But it's interesting that like this isn't like official canon Batman, but then he takes that element. That was cool.
Maybe it was supposed to be when he wrote it. Like, maybe he was like, hey, this will be like a Batman story that could be canon but could not be because it's so far in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jason, there hasn't been a Robin since Jason Todd was killed by the Joker. And that might have been when Batman hung up his thing too, because that was 10 years ago. So in this issue, you get, or the first issue of this series, because it's 4 issues long, Batman's been tracking down this crime villain who's committing all these things, going like robberies and stuff, and he finally they have like a mini fight, and he finds out it is Two-Face, because it kind of looked like Hush, actually.
Oh yeah, because he had the bandages on.
Yeah, he's got bandages all over his face. I'm like, is that Hush? It's like, oh no, it's actually, which is funny because Hush was originally like the first reveal they did was it's Harvey Dent,
yeah,
and it wasn't. But you gotta go back to listen to episode 1 for that one, folks. but yeah, he has the same costume as Hush almost, like with the bandages and everything.
Well, it's cool too because it's like the way it was they fixed Harvey, but Harvey when he saw himself was basically all he saw was messed up.
It was okay. So like to set this up, he sees, or he takes the, like, Batman and him are fighting. Batman takes the bandages off his face, right? And he looks normal, or like, I guess maybe he takes the band. I can't remember. Somehow
the bandages come off.
The bandages come off, and he says, you all fucking are lying to me. Like, it's a big joke to you, huh? And Batman's like, what the hell? And he's like, look at my face. Yeah, both sides are the same now. And it shows him the way he sees himself, and his whole face is scarred instead of half of his face.
It was really cool.
And yeah, so then you see like as the reader, like, oh, like he's still crazy. He thinks we've all been lying to him, or all the Gotham people have been lying to him, and he actually looks terrible, and they're just like coddling him or some shit. So, and that's when Batman sees, oh, he's like super scarred mentally, and this ain't gonna get
This
fixed,
is yeah.
you know? So yeah, that's pretty much the end of issue 1, right? Which just it ends with them taking him back in to Arkham.
Oh, but you also see the Joker, right? At the
Oh
end.
yeah, and they show on the news, they're like, oh, Harvey Dent was caught.
Batman's back.
Batman's back, and you see the Joker smile. He like comes back, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you could tell he's like, oh shit, yeah, like there's a spark all of a sudden.
Yeah, after years of nothing, all of a sudden he's talking and smiling and everything. So then we move on. The second issue was all about the mutants, and I also liked how they paced the story. Like, first one's like him coming back, setting up with a villain,
Yeah,
introducing the mutants, as a like nuisance and everything. But the main villain's Two-Face. Then the second issue, it's like, no, the mutants are a real big problem.
now Batman's got to take care of the mutants,
and Batman's got to take care of them.
And the big part in going to this one is that they're mutants because they have a leader, and this guy is crazy creepy.
Yeah, I think if they ever make this into an actual movie, it should be who's the guy that plays Drax?
Batista, yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Batista. Oh, he should play.
He has the same body,
He does,
and he's
yeah,
got the
he's
head
big,
for
yeah.
it too. He's got like the dude looks super buff, and he's got like a bald head. All they gotta do is put
Yeah,
fake
big
sharp
fang
teeth.
and pointy nipples for some reason.
I mean, you gotta have pointy nipples.
Anyway, but he's physically dominating and scary looking. Like he's intense.
And so Batman's like, okay, we got to take on these mutants. They're like a real issue. And in the meantime, Carrie, the girl who's now kind of posing as Robin, she's kind of like running around and stopping small crimes.
She buys like a Robin costume.
Yeah, I think that's what I don't know if she got it somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if she made some of it, but she looks different than all the other Robins too. I like her costume because she's got like sunglasses that are kind of like yellow
tinted.
Yeah, yellow tinted, and then she makes her hair kind of like a 50s pomp.
Yeah.
So so people actually think that she's a boy in this because Robin has generally been a boy. But yeah, she got like a little cape, and she kind of looks more like. She has like more elfy shoes. And stuff.
It was almost looked closer to like the 50s TV show Robin.
So she's kind of going
60s.
around like 60s TV.
Yeah, pardon me.
Yeah, whatever. We know what you meant. And she's going around like stopping like kind of small crimes. She has a little slingshot that she like shoots people with and stuff to like get them to chase her and whatnot. But yeah, so like the leader of the mutants goes on TV or like sends a message to TV.
Yeah, it like interrupts the TV program.
Yeah, and he's like, "We're gonna kill
Jim Gordon.
We're gonna kill Batman.
We will eat their flesh.
Yeah,
break their bones.
All crazy. We'll grind their bones to make our bread, or whatever the fuck he says." And yeah, so like, and he basically calls out Batman because he's like, like he's too scared to fight me 1-on-1 kind of thing. And so Batman's like, all right, like we'll see about that. And the coolest thing about this issue is the fucking Batmobile, and it shows him like there's like a meet here at this time in this place kind of thing, and he goes to the where is it at? It's like a dump or something.
Yeah, it's like on the edge of the city.
Yeah, and you see him like driving this big tank, and it kind of reminded me of the one from the Dark Knight movies.
Yeah.
But the Chris Nolan movies, but it's even tankier than that. Like
Yeah.
It's got treads instead of wheels. It's got like it's gigantic.
It's
like
friggin' huge.
I'd say 3 or 4 times easily bigger than the one in the movie. And it's got like this weird extended neck kind of that can move and look down and stuff. It's very cool.
And that's the part that looks like a bat. It's got little like like little ears or whatever.
Yeah. It's got, and it was funny they even said the Batmobile. Batman's thinking in his head like that's what Dick used to call it. Like what else would a kid call this thing? Because it doesn't look like a cute car or anything, but
No, it looks like a tank.
yeah, it looks like a tank. But he's like, what would a little kid call this? The Batmobile, of course. So yeah, like he goes there to meet the mutant guy, and the mutant leader. He's like, I'm gonna beat Batman in front of all my followers. So Batman comes out right away. Like, I think doesn't like jump out and punches him right away.
Yeah.
He's like, haha, you thought I was old, But then it turns out, no. And the cool thing about this fight is it's all inner dialogue, which is very Frank Miller-esque, to have like him thinking stuff while a fight's going on. But Batman's like he's faster than I thought he would be, and I'm slower than I wish I was, kind of thing. And like there's just all these punches, and you see like the guy bites him and stuff, and
Yeah.
he uses his teeth, and he's got like claws and stuff too. So basically he beats Batman in this epic fight, and before he like kills him, Carrie comes out and she like
hits him in the head with a crowbar.
Yeah, she like grabs something from the dump. I don't know if it was a crowbar or if it was some kind of bar, and she hits him, and like before anybody can do anything, don't the cops show up and scare everybody away, and then she's able to get Batman out of there and puts him back in the tank. And she's driving, and like Alfred's like, "Who is this?" Like, and even Batman wakes up. He's like, "Who are you?"
She's like, I'm Robin.
He's like, I'm Bruce. Like,
Alfred's like, you're delusional, sir. You got hit in the head. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, don't listen to anything.
Thank you.
He's saying.
Go ahead and leave now, Robin, or whoever you are.
Yeah, but she's in the tank or the Batmobile the whole way back, and she finds out. And I thought it was pretty cool that like Bruce just kind of like automatically kind of takes her under his wing.
Yeah.
As
Well, I guess he feels if she like has already gone through all this and like has the costume. And,
yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, I would think that maybe the way that she heroically like came.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And like was there and obviously and helped him.
Yeah. So might as well train her because she's got a. And the only thing that I was like is the reason why you think Robin is believable as a sidekick is because he is so like as far as Dick Grayson, he was like a gym or was that like high ropes or whatever the fuck his favorite.
Oh, the acrobat.
Yeah, there you go. That's the word I was thinking. So like you're like, oh, that's why he can do all this stuff.
Yeah, he's believable. He can do flips,
right?
And
but she doesn't have any training or anything. She's just like, I want to,
Yeah, I can do it too.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I'm like, well, she doesn't have any training or anything, but he makes it seem kind of realistic where like she hasn't been doing anything too crazy where you're like, that's not believable.
No, she's running around doing stuff in the background and like a kick or two. So like it's
right.
It's
nothing too crazy. Yeah. And then Batman's like, yeah, I'll train you. It's fine. So, pretty much after that, we get like the introduction of my favorite character in this. Ronald Reagan is in this book, and he's like, well, and he's actually talking to Superman because Superman works for the government now because of course he does, that fucking sellout. And and he's like, well, old Soups, would you like a mint? Like, like I think we got to talk about this Batman fellow. Like, and it just,
we don't want you to kill him, but maybe you could just like give him a stern talking to.
Yeah.
They always say about a prize horse, you gotta break him in.
Yeah, it's just like the I don't know, the best representation, except maybe Phil Hartman on SNL, of Ronald Reagan that I can think of. It's pretty funny. So you see, like, they're kind of setting up Superman. Superman is going to have to do, like, either talk to Bruce or figure something out because Ronald Reagan, the president of the free world, is telling him he's going to have to do something about Batman. So then we get Batman and Carrie come up with a plan to end up defeating the mutants or to try to fight them. And Batman says, like, the problem with the first time is that he was fighting the mutant on his own terms. Like, I'm trying to match him punch for punch. Instead of fighting smart, he was fighting dumb. Like he's just swinging for the hills.
Like he's a young man still. Like he just went in all, guns blazing and.
Yeah, and he can't do that anymore. And even if he was, maybe he still couldn't do that anymore because of, the mutant is super strong or weird or whatever, but
Yeah.
he's got weird bite powers or whatever. so yeah, we get and it was funny, like all the mutants are like locked up and they're in prison. I can't remember how they released him.
He tells Jim. So Jim is like, they're getting that much closer to retiring. And actually, there was a fake out that Jim thought it looked like Gordon died.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But they
showed like they cut away right as someone's like, "Hey, Commissioner," and he got a gun. You just see a gun come down, and you see like a look on his face, and then it cuts away to stuff.
Yeah, and then even the news report, they're like, "Oh man, terrible news tonight. Jim Gordon shot some people because they were attacking him." And
yeah, Jim Gordon has shot a bunch of other people because they were slow.
Yeah, so basically they tried to kill him, and so basically Jim is gonna he's like literally like a day or two away from retiring now at this point.
Yeah.
So they captured they had some mutants, and I guess one of the last things, like he and Batman get together on the rooftop or whatever, and it's like, I have a plan. Like, we're gonna take them down, and this time we're gonna do it on my terms. Here's what to do.
That's right.
And then so we find out. It was cool because like Batman's kind of explaining what they're gonna do with Carrie, and then Jim goes down to see the head mutant guy, and he's like, "Oh man, you almost had your guys get me, didn't you?" And he's like, "Well, I hope you have a good night."
Yeah, he just
and like just walks out, and then like all the guards leave, and like because Jim tells the guards leave, and so Jim's like, "You have a good night, mutant leader," and so he leaves the jail, and then the jail cell just opens.
Yeah. And the guy's like, "Cool," And
all right.
Oh, the thing that this is how all the mutants know how to get back is part of the plan, or where to meet. Part of the plan is Carrie, the new Robin, dresses up like one of them, which is funny. She looks all bald, and she's got all these weird like clothes on that like look. It's like a weird pink, like sparkly, but like I don't know. It's got lapels and shit. It's weird. Yeah, it's got like all this crazy shit on it, and she's got her visor on just like all the other mutants. She's like, "Hey, Spud, did you hear about the meeting?" And they're like, "What meeting?" And she's like, "Oh, if you don't know about it, then you must not be a real mutant." And like, "No, I'm a real mutant."
I'm a real mutant, yeah.
Like, yeah, of course you knew about the meeting. Where is it at again? I can't remember. And then she like basically gets to spread the word that like the mutants are all meeting at this spot. And it's right where the sewer, it's kind of like Shawshank Redemption, where the sewer for the prison ends or like empties out is where she tells everybody to meet, all at once. And the reason why they want everybody there is because they want everybody to see the mutant leader get beat, because they're all impressionable kids. So if they see him beat, they will stop being mutants.
Yeah, if Batman takes out the leader, then they
cut off the head.
So the jail cell opens, and and Batman's like, "Yeah, take the bait." And so the mutant leader goes to escape through the sewer.
And so like he's crawling, and you see like the light finally, and then you see, Batman's there waiting for him, and he gets like it's like kind of in a mud pit, which is gross because it's like a shit pit. Obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when the sewer empties out. But yeah, they do like a big epic fight, and this is like the reverse of the last one. Like he's like he's still thinking in his head, Batman is, where he's like, he's trying to swing again like it's last time, but this time, I'm thinking smart or I'm fighting smart, and he like throws mud in his eyes after he hits his visor off and all this shit like that. So basically he totally beats the mutant guy in front of everybody.
Yeah, because they're all sloshed in slugging in mud, so he's slowed down a little bit enough to where I guess it evens the playing field.
Yeah, and then we get so he's finally beat 100%, like beat up the bad or the head mutant, and then you see basically all of a sudden the next shot in the news is just a guy that has like a bat symbol like painted on his face, and he's like, "The sons of the bat will not back down. We are fighting crime in the name of Batman," or whatever. And like, so basically some of these mutant kids that like saw that, now they're like, "Well, our leader got beat as a mutant, so now we're
Batman.
Yeah, now we're sons of Batman." So they start that off, and then that's pretty much the end of issue 2.
Yeah. Oh, and the new commissioner.
Oh yeah, and then the new commissioner comes in, whose name is Alan Yindel.
Yeah.
Or Yindel.
Lady commissioner.
Yeah, she's
and her first act is to call for the arrest of Batman.
Yeah.
So now
that
he's got
bitch.
now he's got that in the back. She's like, look, I don't know how Jim Gordon did things, but here's how I'm doing things. Batman, you're under arrest. You've been doing this for too long.
Yeah. So not only does he have to worry about, any other crime or anything else going on.
Now he has to worry about the police again.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
So, and like I said, the pacing of these books is great because they have your main bad guy of each issue, and then there's a undercurrent of what's going to happen in the next issue until the end of that issue, and then you're like, okay, now we totally set up for this third issue, and it's like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So the third issue is all about, this is fantastic, the Joker. And it's like, so we get the Joker setting up. Basically, he's like faking rehabilitation.
Yeah, with the same doctor that
freed.
Obviously rehabilitated Harvey Dent so well.
Yeah, so
of course he did fine with Joker.
And this really reminded me of the new Joker movie because like there's scenes very similar where like the Joker's at like a TV talk show or whatever kind of thing. So it was interesting. But this issue starts off with one of the most craziest villains I've ever seen. And I guess this villain is supposed to be like it's like one of the new leaders that have risen up out of the mutant, I guess after the mutants collapsed. Like there's a lot of little different, subsets. So there's the Sons of Batman and there's other people. And this one, I don't know what they are called. I can't remember what they're called, but there's a character named Bruno who is a woman.
Yeah.
Potentially.
She's a woman.
A
very strong and powerful woman.
Yeah. She looks like Drago's wife.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that from Rocky IV, exactly.
Yeah, she looks like Drago's wife from Rocky IV, except she's got, so she's topless. She's got like, army cargo pants on and like.
Army cargo chaps on.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're
right.
Like
it's very important to distinguish.
I'm sorry.
That.
Forgot about that. And, and like Doc Martin combat boot kind of looking boots.
And a big old machine gun.
She's got on her breasts that have no nipples swastikas.
Yeah. Well, the swastikas are covering the nipples. They're like pasties. You've never seen swastika pasties?
I guess. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe I guess it's swastika pasties. Then when she turns around, she's got swastikas on each of her butt cheeks.
That is why we had to clarify with Jeff's, because she got swastikas on her butt too.
So yeah, she's one of the most ridiculous villains, but she's like one of the ones that she's come out and now she's like trying to become one of the leader of like a smaller gang.
Yeah.
And so she's got a couple, lackeys that are following her around, and they're basically just robbing like a liquor store or like a convenience store. And it's funny because there's like an old lady in the convenience store, and she's like, "Hey, this is robbery. This price of this alcohol," and they're like, "Hey, old lady, shut up." And then it turns out that the old lady is actually Bruce Wayne dressed up as an old lady, which is fantastic. And he beats the shit out of those guys. And we see like him and Carrie working together like as a team now, finally like kind of setting that up where they're like, he has Carrie kind of distract Bruno, and she like shoots Bruno in the face with a slingshot. It's like a rock or whatever, or a BB. And so Bruno's chasing after him, and Bruce, you hear in her intercom, is saying like, "Hey, don't like let her see you." And then she lets her see her on accident, and then like you just see her like fucking up a little bit because it's her first stuff. And so yeah, it's kind of cool to see like the first little dynamic of their thing going on.
Yeah. So Bruce catches up to them, and so Bruno and Bruce are fighting a bit, and then there's like a rumbling. Batman's like, "Oh God, not now!"
Yeah,
of all times.
And then there's like a hole in the wall, and then there's just like lasers, right? Like laser eyes. He's like, "I just felt the heat," or whatever. And like that's how does Bruno die, or does Bruno just go away? I can't remember.
No, I think the gun gets destroyed.
Oh, that's what the gun gets cut in half because laser eyes. And then so Superman he shows up, has a talking to with Bruce.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, we need to talk." He's like, "Okay, I'll see you at my place at like later tonight or in the morning or something."
Yeah, and so they set up, and this is where you see like it's Superman as Clark Kent, and he's got like he looks like Clark Gable from like an old 40s or 30s movie. He's got like a swashbuckling shirt.
Yeah.
And it's like half
Half
open.
open.
His chest is showing, and he's got like his
big
hair.
curly
His
Q.
curly Q. I love the way Frank Miller draws him. He's got horse riding pants and boots on, kind of things. He looks ridiculous, but it's fun the way he looks. And he's just like, yeah, Bruce, you can't be doing this. Like, the president's saying, I'm gonna have to stop you one of these days if you go too far, kind of thing.
And Bruce is like, oh, we'll see what happens when that day comes, huh?
You go fuck yourself, basically. And which is not great. Like, and it's cool that, like, obviously Superman is nowadays he's kind of seen more as like a good guy, like a kind of like how Iron Man is in the Marvel universe, where like he was with the government on the side of mutant registration and stuff. But then you would think that Superman would be a little bit more discerning or whatnot, but in this they make him like, well, of course I'm with the good guys, I'm with America, kind of thing, and I'll do whatever the president wants me to do. And so we see Joker's been meeting with some guy, and they're like planning what's going to happen. And the guy is this kind of like B-list villain named the Toy Maker. And I don't know I've never read any of the comics where he actually was doing stuff, but like without this going on. But I think he makes bombs basically out of toys. So I think there might have been an episode of the animated series with the Toy Maker.
I feel like I remember
there was one with like remote
like
control cars or something that would explode. I can't remember though. It's been a long time since I watched that episode.
Yeah, the only weird, like, I remember the Mad Hatter had stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah, that's true.
But either way.
But anyway, so the Toy Maker's working with the Joker, and Joker's like, okay, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna do this. You do this. You do that. So what he comes up with is, he's gonna get rehabilitated. He's gonna go on a talk show. He's gonna basically kill everybody in the audience, and like he sets all that up.
He goes on TV with his like rehabilitation
the doctor,
and there's like, okay, Joker, you want to tell his side of things, and the Joker's like, and
it's on Letterman too, and it's actually Letterman.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, it does look.
His name isn't Letterman; it's Endocrine.
But he looks like Letterman.
But he's got the gap in his teeth, and he's like, hey, to his guy in the corner. Yeah, and it's that dude that used to play piano on Letterman. I don't remember his name is, but like
Paul Shaver.
Yeah, Paul. There you go. And it's like that. It's the same thing. So it's basically Letterman.
Yeah, but it was. And Joker's like, things were crazy, but. It doesn't matter now because I'm going to kill everyone in the audience.
And they're like,
he's like, the doctor's like, it's a joke. He's acting out.
Yeah. Who does he kiss? Because at the beginning, when they were like putting makeup on his face before he went out, he's like, oh, you want lipstick? He's like, I have my own. And he put his own on. And then he kisses, I don't remember who the lady is. There was like a second guest that was on the panel.
Yeah, she was still sitting there.
And she was still sitting there, and he like kisses her. And she automatically gets like the Joker poison face.
Yeah. Oh.
Where she's like frozen in horrifying laughter face. And then all of a sudden, like this little kid toy, like this little boy is a boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Toy starts flying through the audience and just shoots out all the poison gas to everybody. And
there's a boy and a girl toy.
In that release,
I think
gas?
they both go across.
So yeah, they both release the gas. Basically, everybody dies in the theater. And so it was like this big fucking thing. The Joker after that goes kind of like on a rampage, trying to get Bruce mad. So he goes to Selena Kyle. Basically, he's trying to get information out of her, and she's like, "I'm not telling you shit." And Selena Kyle is old
yeah.
He did not draw her any nice way at all. He made her look pretty wrecked, but she's like the madam of a prostitution house.
Yeah, I guess it's like a brothel or something. That was interesting. But I guess
or an escort service.
It's Gotham, so there's seedy stuff going on.
Yeah, but she she says no, and he like beats her up, and he makes her wear like a Wonder Woman costume. Yeah. And so when Bruce finds her, she's like,
he's crazy. He's really gone crazy this time.
Yeah. And the whole time I like this too. You like Bruce is in his head as he sees like these crimes happening from the Joker. Like, like it's all because I let him live. If this could have all been figured out, all the deaths over my whole history that Joker's cause could have been figured out by me just killing the Joker.
Yep.
Like that's all I needed to do. And so when we go down.
So Batman's tracking the Joker, and he keeps getting stopped. Every time he's getting close, he also keeps getting stopped by the Gotham police because they're after him.
Right, yeah, they're like hard on his tail this whole time, and Yindel is not letting up at all.
Yeah, they stop him on like a rooftop or whatever, but luckily they were in like a Batcopter right before that, so like Carrie's like voice activates the copter and they'll pick him up in there, so they continue on the chase.
Yeah, and that's when they find like the bomb, which is like one of the kids. So they track down like Toymaker, where he's supposed to be, and then it's actually a bomb. And this is one of the things where Batman's like, "Don't go inside," and Robin does. And then there's just like one of the dolls is there, and she's like, "Ew," because it looks all grotesque, and she's like, "You're ugly, you're ugly too," or whatever. Like, who do you think you are? And then it starts to explode, and basically Carrie just got pulled back by Batman right as it exploded, so she was okay. So then basically Joker's like set up. He's left enough clues and everything that we know he's like Batman knows he's going to be at this carnival that's happening in town, and Batman goes there, and there's like just like this epic fight. Basically, the two split off, Toymaker and Joker. So Joker's trying to get Batman to follow him, and then Carrie takes on Toymaker, and that was pretty crazy too, because it was a little like because she's only like 14 or something.
Yeah. No, it was actually kind of a creepy fight because Toymaker's like a pretty big honky.
Yeah, the way they draw him kind of like the Kingpin.
Yeah.
In Batman Spider-Verse,
the Spider-Verse movie.
The Spider-Verse movie. And then like just that big like burly dude, and then he also like they say he's like smells like milk all the time, which I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why does he smell like milk? But they just give him all these weird like they make him seem really creepy. Like he makes little dolls and stuff too, so you're like, is he like a pedophile or some shit? But he's just super creepy, and so he's fighting her, and he's actually like they're on like a roller coaster. And he's getting the better of her because she's like 14 and smaller than him and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly how she does it, but basically she gets him to like raise his head up as a roller coaster's coming by, and it knocks his head off.
Yeah.
Super fucking cool way to kill someone. But yeah, it was messed up. And Carrie, like, this is the first time she's ever really had to do some real fighting. And it wasn't like fun.
No.
Like she was losing and she almost died. If it wasn't for that roller coaster, she would have died, kind of thing. So you can see like in her eyes and the way that he draws her that she has like a moment of like, holy shit, like this is for reals. This isn't like
that's her
fun
first
time.
Real test as Robin.
So yeah, we get that, and then this whole time Batman's been chasing down Joker,
and Joker's getting him to chase him and like just murdering.
Oh yeah, he's just shooting people on his way.
On his way,
yeah, like
mowing him down.
He goes into like a tunnel.
That tunnel of love.
Yeah, and then. So he's in the tunnel of love, and there's two people standing in front of the tunnel of love. Then when the Batman gets there, he sees the two people, but they're dead. And he's like, these are the last two people you'll ever kill, Joker. And then, so he goes in there, and they have a big epic fight.
I love when he throws like batarangs and like one gets like stuck in Joker's eye.
Oh, yeah. I like how he drew that, too, where he didn't really show detail. It was just like a big black, like scratchy line spot or whatever, like on his eyes. And then, they're fighting, and like Batman gets a hold of him, and like and that's so fucking crazy. Like Joker and Batman are right next to each other. They're grabbing each other. Joker's got a knife and is just like stabbing Batman in the stomach, like as much as he can in his stomach, in his abdomen area. And then I can only imagine he got stabbed like 10 times or something, like with a fucking 8-inch blade or something.
Yeah.
And then Batman's like, and then I go in for the kill. Basically, he like goes to kill Joker, but at the last second he can't really. So he goes to snap his neck, and he paralyzes the Joker. I don't know how you have that kind of control.
Yeah, you could. He goes to the point of going to kill him, and then right before it stops somehow.
Yeah, so he's able to break his neck willingly, but not paralyze, he paralyzes it, but not kills him.
Yeah.
So yeah, not sure how that works exactly, but he was able to do it. So then he's talking to the Joker, and the Joker's like, you paralyze me, really? Like I'm not gonna let you get away with that, basically. And because now everybody, Joker knows the police are after Batman and stuff, so he knows that like if he's dead, Batman will get blamed for it, and then it's gonna be like an all-out assault because Batman killed someone.
Yeah.
And so, so Joker just like finished the job, and he just turns
turns his neck. Yeah, that's crazy.
He has the will to turn his neck and break his own neck. So super fucked up, but very cool.
Super creepy.
Yeah, it was very creepy. Yeah, so that's how the third issue ends, with like that going on. Batman is now wanted for the murder of the Joker, and now it's like he killed someone officially. So like this is where shit goes down. We see like the sons of Batman have like come up and are like they're like fighting crime, but like in a horrible way where they're like murdering people.
Yeah,
and then like even
Batman did it.
Yeah, right. Oh, and they're saying like so there's like a guy with a Batman, the son of Batman. He walks into like a convenience store that's getting robbed. He shoots the two criminals, but he also did you take off the hand or something of the convenience store guy, because he's like I can't remember what his reasoning was, but it was something like you should have pushed the button. That's what it was. You should have pushed the silent alarm button. And it's like, but that's not a crime not to do that. But I guess,
they don't.
They make their own rules. So, so that's where we see like this issue is all about Batman versus Superman, and this is kind of like the origin of that whole Batman versus Superman movie. All that stuff is all based kind of on this fight scene, or this whole thing behind this, because basically the president's like, well, Batman's killed someone now, and we need you to take care of him for America, and so Superman, he's got to take care of that. But also, right, this issue also kind of brings up the whole nuclear threat that has been going on kind of behind the scenes that they've mentioned, but not really.
Yeah, they've been like there's tensions around, but that's been on a back burner, basically.
Yeah. Basically, they start talking about like Russia and America and nuclear weapons, and how like we're on the kind of like the brink of warfare, of nuclear, annihilation, and it's just a matter of who will strike first. And basically, the Russians strike first because they shoot a nuke at America, and Superman's like, "I'll take care of it," and he goes to take care of it. And I love like. The whole time he's flying over there to stop the nuke, Batman is thinking to himself or saying out loud, like how dumb you are, Clark, and I can't believe you can't think past that. You never look at the bigger picture. You're always just like a dog or something, where you're like whatever they tell you, you do kind of thing. Because don't you understand what's going to happen? And like Superman diverts the bomb, but it still goes off.
Yeah.
And then it causes a nuclear winter and a power surge that like kills all the power of Gotham City. So basically like all the criminals are like, hell yeah, we can like rob everything and no one can do anything. And everyone's in pandemonium. And even the regular people are freaking out. It's kind of like now with the toilet paper.
In this particular area, I really like the art. The panel of the nuke coming and Superman flying was cool because it was mostly dark shades, but the only other colors were like the bright reds of like the Soviet star on the nuke,
right?
And then Superman's chest symbol and cape. I just thought it was a really pretty panel.
Oh yeah, I mean, needless to say, the art in this
whole thing, but these
very, very good.
In this one in particular has some of my favorite panels in this last issue. It's just they're so beautiful.
Yeah, pretty much every one you mentioned, you're like, oh yeah, that's in the last issue. But yeah, so Superman gets blowed up, and he's not. They show a panel of him, and he's just basically dead. Like he's still in the air, he's still flying or floating, but he's like
skinning
a skeleton almost.
But yeah, like his skeleton, and then his
with skin on it,
skin draped over it. It was really cool, but creepy too. But but fucking cool.
And it's weird. He's in like in the middle of like an ion storm or something, and so there's like lightning bolts and all this stuff. And it was funny because. So he like the sun is blocked out now because it's like in a nuclear winter. Yeah, so he got hurt from the bomb and he can't get sunlight to recover. So he
So
does
he's basically dying.
he copies a move from Goku from Dragon Ball, and he falls on the ground after getting hit by a lightning bolt, and he like sees a sunflower that's still there and alive, and he's like, you know, please sunflower, give me your
Give your sun energy.
Yeah, I'm like, he's building a spirit bomb. What the fuck? Like I never saw that before, or I never like put the two and two together since I read this. I don't know when
Superman's always got some crazy power he can pull out.
Apparently, I've never heard of this where he can like use the sunlight from.
Did you know Superman could turn back time until that happened?
No.
Yeah,
that's very true. These powers just come randomly.
That's why everybody in general hates. I like Superman in doses and when he's on the team. But that's why everybody hates Superman, because when
powers doesn't he
when you think like, oh, this is what beats him. Nope. He's like, I can do this too.
Except magic. He's always been vulnerable to magic.
Oh,
that's why Shazam is his biggest enemy.
That's true.
Well, not enemy, but biggest foe if he wants to fight him. But anyway, so like he like basically gets his enough energy from this blast that he's like from the earth. He's able to get enough to look like himself. He's still not 100% though. And then in the midst of all this, Batman in Gotham has like got he saw like all the Sons of Batman kind of like doing vigilante, like Punisher style, justice or crime fighting, and he's like he goes to the one that shot the clerks or the clerk and the guys that were robbing him. He like grabs the gun. He's like, "This is the weapon of a criminal. We do not use these weapons. We use our fists." And he basically gets all the Sons of Batman to follow him.
I love it. He gathers them all together and he rides in on.
Yeah, he's got a horse.
It's a really cool shot too.
Yeah, there's like this big horse. It's kind of, I guess they use that scene in Dark Knight Rises, because in Dark Knight Rises all the power goes out in the city.
Yeah, and
then he rides a horse in, so it's kind of like that. But Dark Knight Rises is the movie from Christopher Nolan. Anybody who doesn't know that. So but yeah, he gets all the Sons of Batman to basically help him fight crime while all this is going on, and in the meantime, while they're like doing stuff, you see all the people going crazy. There's like one guy in particular who's like a normal person who's like an asshole though. They've shown him before where like he was like, "What was I supposed to do? Stop when this kid walked in front of my car?" And like like we just like murdered people, and somehow he was able to get off on technicalities or something. But yeah, it shows him like in like a Target parking lot, basically, not Target, but store like that. Yeah. And then he's like, "No, we got to go in there and take whatever we want. These are emergency times." And then there's like another group of people who are like, "This is our stuff," and then they're like, "Well, not anymore," and then they start like fighting each other. And then the Sons of Batman show up, stop that shit real quick. And they like the guy that started it all, the guy who's got like no moral conscience at all. He gets like punched in the face, and he's like, "I got 3 broken ribs and my neck's all fucked up and everything." So yeah, while this is all going on, the Sons of Batman are able to keep peace kind of around the city, crime free. And then we get what this issue is really about.
A beam of light shines through the sky, and then on the ground you see basically fire carved, because you realize it's a laser beam.
Yeah.
It says, "Where?"
Yeah. And so it's Batman versus Superman. Hell fucking yeah. So
Batman who does he tell to tell Superman? It says, "Tell him Crime Alley is where he wants."
I can't remember who he says to tell him.
But basically, it's just enough time for Batman to go and formulate a little plan of how this is going to go down.
Yeah.
And he
gets Oliver Queen, who we find out, and I want to read this comic. I want to know what happened in this. But Oliver Queen, who is the Green Arrow, apparently had a falling out with Superman at some time where Superman either burned off or pulled off his arm. So Oliver Queen's only got one arm, and he's all like, "I'm in." Like Batman's like, "So I'm thinking about maybe fighting." He's like, "I'm in."
I always knew it would come down between you two, and I want a piece of him.
I'll kick his ass. So they come up with a plan, and Superman, like
Batman pulls out something glowy green, We're like,
Right,
oh, okay.
Yeah, we know what that
we
is.
know what's
obviously.
gonna happen.
So, they meet each other, and Superman's like, "You don't gotta do this, Bruce. You know this doesn't end well for you." And we did see before this fight started, there was like Bruce took a pill,
Yeah.
and he's like, I gotta time this out just right. And so you think he's doing like amphetamine, something to make him like
Just strong enough
right?
to fight Batman. Yeah, because we know his heart's still.
To fight Superman.
Or sorry,
Yeah. Batman fighting Batman.
Batman fighting Batman. Yeah.
So yeah, we get like you see him do that. You see him preparing, and so we know like okay, Oliver's gonna come into this,
And we know the police are gonna show up.
Yeah, we know the police, all this stuff. So they start fighting. Superman or Batman's got his like a big suit that he wears, like a mech suit kind of thing, just like the one in Batman.
Yeah, it's a big armored suit. I love it. And he has Carrie go out in the Bat tank to like basically stall the police.
Yeah,
I love Superman like rips open the top. Is like, isn't this a school night lady?
yeah,
Little lady.
yeah. So he's like, it's funny because he's still like doesn't. He's not trying to be a dick necessarily. Yeah. He's just like I'm
just following orders.
I'm just following orders, and I believe this is the American way or whatever. So like, he's fighting Batman, and Batman's like punching him and stuff, and Superman's like, you think like you can get at me or whatever, and he's like, and in Batman's mind he's like, I'm just seeing if he's full strength, like what slows him down. He's got like all these little tricks, like here's a bunch of bombs that shoot off and hit him, and here's this and that, and it's like if he's obviously not at full strength or Superman's not, because he didn't miss all the bombs, like basically some of them hit him.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, if he was, he would have been able to dodge all that stuff. So then we see Oliver, and Oliver is waiting on top of, he's like on a fire escape or something. Yeah. And the police start showing up too, but he takes out, or like he was able to shoot before the police. Like, do the police shoot him? They do something. Something happens.
Yeah, I think they get him in the shoulder or something.
Yeah, but because they're like, hey, we got one right here, and before he gets shot or taken out by the police, he's able to get off one arrow. That
with a
perfectly
green tip.
Yeah, with a green. It's got like a vial on the front of it, and it hits Superman.
No, it doesn't hit Superman. Superman catches it.
Oh yeah, and it explodes.
Yeah, and he's like, "What were you trying to do?" And and then it fucking explodes in his face.
Yeah, and then Batman says it costs like $4 billion and like 10 years of looking, but I finally got a chunk of it or whatever. He's talking about kryptonite. Yeah. So in this world, it's not an easy thing to find.
No,
and
it's like aerosol kryptonite at this point.
So it's like in his lungs and shit now. And so he's able to actually like fight Superman.
When he throws that first punch and like you see the blood on Superman's face, that was so cool.
And he's like, now you know how it feels. Like for the first time, he feels pain or whatever, And then, and so they're fighting, and he's like, now he's kicking Superman's ass. And right when he's about to like really win, you just see like his little heart. He goes like his little heart face. His heart starts freaking out or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next panel is like Superman being like, Clark, and he's like holding him in his arms.
And he like sees.
Not Clark. Bruce.
Yeah. He like looks inside his chest too. He's like, oh my God, Bruce, your heart.
Yeah, your heart. And so like basically Bruce has a heart attack.
He said, yeah. He's like, and right before he's gonna basically die, he's like, I want you to know who bested you.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, it's like, I kicked your ass and I could have killed you.
Yeah.
And
don't you ever forget this.
Yeah.
I could have beat you.
It was so badass. It's just a good idea. And then and here's the real sad part though. So part of this plan was also Alfred was supposed to blow up the mansion and the Batcave and everything so that, no one, everybody's obviously going to see that Bruce Wayne was Batman, but no one's going to be able to use the technology or look in there. And so as he's doing that, as everything explodes, he's like, and this is a fitting end, and he just has a stroke and died.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, my God, come on.
Poor Alfred. I mean, Alfred would have to be like in his 90s in this comic.
Yeah, well,
But still, it's sad. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, Alfred.
But that was like, oh, man. And also because I thought at this time, because, spoiler alert, well, it's not really spoiler because we're going over it, but it turns out when they're all at the funeral.
Yeah. Oh, so they're having a funeral for
Batman.
For Bruce Wayne.
Sorry, for Bruce.
Yeah. And the news is like, Bruce Wayne was Batman. And so yeah, everybody knows, and so everybody's there,
And Superman's at his funeral, and everybody's at his
Selina
funeral.
Kyle's like, how dare you show up to this funeral?
Yeah,
You did this.
yeah, and Carrie's at the funeral, and but everybody thinks she's a boy, and this is the first time you see her like in a dress or whatever.
Yeah.
So they don't know that she's Robin.
So everybody's going to leave except for Carrie and Superman.
Right, and then Superman starts to walk away, and all of a sudden you hear he hears a heartbeat. And then and he turns around and Carrie's looking at him like, oh shit. And then we find out the pill that Bruce took before the fight was like one to slow his metabolism down to 0 or whatever, and his heartbeat and everything.
Yeah.
So it looked like he was dead, but he's just gonna come back and, kick some ass still or whatever.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so like basically, so Clark like kind of smirks and goes off, and then Carrie helps Bruce get out of there, and then it basically just shows him at the end like, well, now he'll leave us alone, and we can get down to like real business.
Yeah. So and then like Superman smiles and walks away, or Clark Kent does. But yeah, it was fantastic. That was like, and that's how it ends. Like that's pretty much how the whole book ends. Or the whole book ends with doesn't like the last scene is like him.
He's underground.
He's underground with the Sons of the Bat, and he's like he's got all these blueprints, and he's like, here's where we're gonna start, and it's like building a new Batcave basically. Yeah. So yeah, like, what'd you think? I mean, what would you give this book, John?
Man, this is like getting into this. This is one I had read, but like going back and read, like you said, there was a lot of little pieces I forgot.
You read it once. I read it like 5 years ago, and then you're like, and I had read it probably like 5 years ago before that. So, like every time you read it, like, wow, that was really good. And then
it is absolutely amazing, and I'm gonna steal some of your word choices. Like this felt groundbreaking. It felt and
still
obviously is.
If this came out today, it would be one of the biggest selling books ever because it's so fucking good.
So good.
Yeah, and it's still original. There hasn't been anything that like I read this and I've read a lot of Batman and it still feels original and out there and a different voice of storytelling.
I love it, and I'm a sucker for that like one last rides kind of story and like the last hoorah kind of thing. And I like Batman, and I like the way that this was kind of like it's old man Batman. It's like he doesn't give a shit anymore. He just like, everybody is like, we gotta basically gotta finish everything I started. I loved it. This is my first 10.
This is your first 10.
I loved it.
You heard it here, folks. Nice. Well, I'm gonna give this one a 10 too, because like pretty much everything you said. Like I mean, like I said, I've read this book before. Let's see, maybe like 4 or 5 times. And every time I forget that one, it's like 4 different stories that are all perfectly meshed together.
Yeah, because like we were saying, the thing we remember is Batman versus Superman of this. And there's so much.
I remember the mutant fight.
Yeah.
And I remember Batman fighting Superman.
But all the stories are good in this. Every single issue of this is fantastic. Yeah. And tells a intricate and beautiful story that then overlaps into this whole saga of at least this first book that we're reading. Right. All 4 of these. Like that's...
Yeah, I mean, you don't get writing like this very often. So the fact that it's almost 30 years old. It's like 25 years old now. Like that's ridiculous that it's that good still. So that's why it's a 10. I mean, and as I said, it was groundbreaking not only on the comic level but on an industry level. Like, trade paperbacks are a thing now because of this and whatnot. So
yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that until you told me.
Yeah,
like right then, that's crazy.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, the writing is amazing. I know art. I know you're. So I'm not as. I know Frank Miller books, but I'm more familiar with covers than because I haven't read as many.
Right.
But the art in this book is just absolutely stunning. It's got several. Like there are so many panels and covers for this that are super iconic now. Like you've seen them on T-shirts and other. And so many other things have done a like version of that because of this comic. And one of the things I was telling Matt beforehand too. This made me I'm surprised, especially as well as this is, you don't ever see like T-shirts with one of the Batman symbols from this book, because he has a couple different costumes in this, but his main one is like
that fat looking.
Is that huge fat Batman? It's almost like from Batman vs Superman, but I like this one much.
That's the closest one.
Yeah, it's the closest one to it, but I love because it's like all the way across his chest and one like gigantic fat bat symbol. I love it, and I maybe like after
This
rereading
bat is a fat bat.
it's a fat bat. Well, it fits his, because Batman's really like
right. Yeah, he's like
chunky
old.
and
Yeah,
big.
he's
and
stocky.
Yeah, stocky.
Yeah.
That's a better. But that made me go.
Chunky.
I went out and I found it online finally again too. I was like, I want this.
You want it?
That simple shirt because it was so good.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, we saw Frank Miller art 2 episodes ago with Wolverine.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same guy. It's 5 years apart. Did he even look any? I mean, you could see little tiny hints of it in Wolverine.
But there were certain panels, but this.
No, not like this though. Like this is him unchained, like off the Marvel leash, off of whatever. He's like, hey, I'm going to create this, like full me, kind of. It's fantastic. So you don't get books like this very often, and the fact that it's like Watchmen. Like you read it and you're like, mind blown again. Like you read it and it just every time you read it, it's already good. You already know the story and it still blows your mind.
Yep,
it's ridiculous. That's how you know it's like a groundbreaking book because of that. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 10.
Plus, Bruce Wayne has a mustache for part of it, and it's a sweet ass mustache. So.
Sweet, yeah. It's an extra point for the mustache. So, but yeah, so we both give it a 10. On that note, I think we're closing this episode off,
and we'll get ready for the continuation of this story, which I'm so excited.
It might be
a
quintilogy. I don't know.
We'll see how many we get out of it, but definitely stay tuned, guys, and we'll have a lot of cool contests coming as well. We're gonna do some more giveaways, I think, in the future.
Yeah, we had one for our 1,500 Instagram followers.
Yeah, so definitely make sure to keep liking. Make sure to comment. Let us know that what episodes you're liking, what content you're liking. If there's certain books that you want us to read to, let us know.
Oh yeah, because this has just been like our list of stuff. Like we will always take suggestions from the audience. So
if there's a favorite of yours, if there's something really obscure, like we want to check it out. So
and we'll pretty much cover anything. I don't think there's anything we wouldn't look at it all, right?
I mean, I aside from like some kind of like grotesque snuff piece, I would think everything would be fine. Do they make snuff comics? Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Snuff comic? I don't know. There's probably a comic called Snuff, if I had to guess. We're pretty much open to a lot of stuff. So anything we can get. If we can't get it, then we might be.
That's true.
Yeah, but.
Check see if it's on Comixology first.
Yeah, if it's on Comixology, or I can buy it at a comic store if they're still around by the end of this thing. So, anyway,
stay safe out there.
Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Well, folks, hope you enjoyed that episode.
If you did, and you'd like to follow us on social media, our Facebook is Planes, Trains, and Comic Books, and our Instagram is @Planes, Trains, and Comic Books, all one word.
And be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more recommendations to add to your weekly pull list.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.